looking for you something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back, get your lick back. If a nigga owe you something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. I feel like I'm JX. J-Way. I'm a perfectionist. Adderall got me restless. I'm gone. Run with a wild crew, they get reckless. Young boy, come up off that neck. Into the trends. See a lead, be the best.
Welcome to Bleachers and Speakers. I'm your host, June Foster. Was you saying something before the intro came on?
I was, no, not really.
Okay, I noticed. I said, "Dang,
Nah, it was nothing."
The live kicked on, man. Anyway, welcome to Bleachers and Speakers. Make sure you subscribe to Bleachers and Speakers on YouTube, and make sure you following us on all the aggregators. That's anywhere you can listen to a podcast. You can hear me and B Foster in podcast mode if you want to listen. Those are platforms like YouTube Music, Pandora, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Wherever you listen to podcasts, you can find me and B Foster for the Lions, and all you have to do is type in Bleachers and Speakers FFSN in your search. Make sure you're following us. Make sure that notification bell is on, so when we drop content, you'll get an alert. And make sure you download those episodes. We like to see where the downloads are coming from, so we can for marketing purposes, we can target different audiences and retain our own audience. And I tell you what, someone told me earlier this week, Foster, that they listened to our show on the way into work, and they had to go somewhere and they had to travel about 45 minutes. And they said, man, it was good. It made the trip go smoother. So yes, on your morning drive, you can check us out. Just listen. And you're not supposed to watch your TV or watch your phone while you're driving. So go ahead and, make sure you turn on Spotify. You follow me and B Foster. Follow me and B Foster or Apple podcast, whatever, and just listen to us on the way to work or the way home to work, man. Just check us out. Foster, we have a game tomorrow, and it's the kind of game I like. It's on Sunday at 1 p.m. We haven't had a 1 p.m. game yet, and we are going into week 4. First, Green Bay was at 4 o'clock. The Bears was Sunday night, or was it? Yeah, Sunday night.
Nah, that was the Bears game was at 1 o'clock because I was on my way home.
You know what it is? I was at work.
You was at work, yeah.
No, I was watching it. So yeah, I guess I stand corrected. But these are more the games that I like to see. 1 o'clock, get it over with. I don't want to wait till 4 o'clock. I don't want to wait till Monday Night Football. So I want to say this is 2 out of the 4. Out of the 4 games are at 1 o'clock. Unfortunately, we played Green Bay in the afternoon, and we had to wait for Monday to play Baltimore, which was worth the wait. You know what I'm saying, with the results. But we got the Cleveland Browns. They'll be here in Detroit, and we'll be playing them Monday. I mean, at 1 o'clock tomorrow. And Foster, this is a sneaky good team, and it's based on the strength of their defense. They have a good defense, and they had last year, so it's no secret they had a good defense last year. They have an identity. They're a defensive team. They caught Green Bay slipping. They hung around, forced turnovers, and the professional quarterback could not get loose versus the Browns, and they snuck a victory. And we have to be on guard. I think Detroit, the Lions, are still trying to see who they are. In a sense, it's early. You can say, we're offensively we're there, but I still want to. I need to see more for me to be comfortable with that offensive line. That interior offensive line of ours has improved over the last 2 games, but I still need to see continuous consistency and improvement. So I think we got our hands full with the Browns, and it's kind of sad to say. Like, I mean, last year's team, I'd have been like, it's the Browns. This year's like, we got to see. We have to step up and we have to play them and treat them like any playoff team. Foster, what are your thoughts on the Cleveland Browns, Foster?
Well, I would have said that this game would have been a dangerous trap type game, but we should certainly be on alert after them beating the team that beat us so handedly. So there's not going to be any surprises. No, I mean, Dan Campbell always has his guys prepared for the most part for games. So I never doubt the preparation aspect of things. But the Cleveland Browns are a team that have a very stubborn defense. They are first in the league in yards allowed defensively, and they are second in sacks. So this is a team that 100% has a strength in their front seven. Obviously, they have one of the best players on the planet as far as football is concerned, and Myles Garrett. And he's got other players around him that complement it. But they have a firm game plan of what they want to do. They want to muddy the waters. They want to allow you to beat yourself. The Packers had 14 penalties against the Browns. I mean, they moved the ball pretty well. I think Love did have one interception, but I mean, the Packers shot themselves in the foot and were ultimately held down to 10 points in that game. And yeah, they want to the Browns want to muddy the waters. They want to keep you close as long as they possibly can, because they do have some deficiencies on the other side of the ball, being the offense.
Yeah, I think one thing is we can say that the Browns offense is yet to be desired. The defense, they hang their hat on their defense. And I think it's one of those games where, you know, if you can move the ball and you score 7 in the red zone, you have to score 7, come away with 7. Don't settle for 3. Don't let them hang around. Ball control. Don't turn the ball over against these guys. It's a good defense, and it's going to be a good test. I'm willing to see, because, you know, I felt like we were very challenged versus Green Bay as far as the defense. They played pretty good defense versus us, and I was a little worried. I was a little worried after that first game. Like, okay, let's all those things come to pass as far as the thoughts. Oh man, we got a new offensive coordinator. Man, maybe he's not it, or maybe this offensive line is just that bad. You know what I'm saying? So all those things went through my mind after that first game, and then versus Chicago, they answered the bell. They got it was one of those games where, you know, it was a bounce back game. And then versus Baltimore, I couldn't be more pleased with the offense. The offense looked pretty good versus Baltimore. So, and Baltimore's defense was missing a couple players, but they have a pretty good defense. So, this is going to be one of those games where we have to be on our P's and Q's, and we can't turn the ball over. And we have to score. I don't care how good their defense is. We have to score. So, Foster, defensively, do you have any issues or worries or concerns facing the Browns?
Well,
I don't.
You don't?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's limited. I'm always cautious. Kelvin Shepherd kind of put me more at ease and put in perspective some of the shortcomings that we have had defensively, especially from Terrion Arnold. But yeah, I mean, well, first and foremost, I think that he's going, after watching that press conference that we were talking about, I think that he is 100% going to be a head coach in the league very soon. Very fiery, very good attention.
Very soon, Foss?
You said what?
Very soon?
No. Oh, did I say very soon? I don't mean very soon. In due time. In due time.
Okay.
We're not gonna get ahead of ourselves.
Not
But
next year or the year after.
no. But down the line, I can see it. I can foresee that. Because he's one of those guys that teams are gonna run through a wall for, or want to run through a wall for. Good attention to detail, and it seems like he's big on accountability. I mean, he talked about giving up 30 points to Baltimore. And mind you, Baltimore is a very dynamic offense, but he said, unacceptable for us to give up 30 points to them, to give up a touchdown on the very first on the very first drive of the game. No, the very first offensive drive of the game. He said unacceptable. The touchdown at the end of the half, unacceptable. He said that the play they ran on that first drive is a play that they run in middle school. Basically, he's like, no, we're not doing that. And then obviously late in the game where they gave up that touchdown, it was 3rd and 27. And he said that if they had made the tackle, if they had made the routine tackle, then they end up being at 4th and 15 or whatever the case may be. So, I think that overall they had a good effort, especially in the second half of the game. But he's not letting up. He's not letting up on even the little shortcomings throughout the game. But as far as my biggest concern defensively, it's Quinshon Judkins. He's their rookie running back, and he was the focal point of the offense in the last game that they won, and he's averaged 5.5 yards a carry. If we can limit what he can do and put the ball in Joe Flacco's hands, there's a very high probability that the ball will land in somebody in the secondary's hands at least once next week. He has yet to have a clean game without an interception.
Defensively, I'm going to say it again. I said this should have been the game plan versus Baltimore. It's definitely the game plan versus Cleveland. It's not a pick your poison type thing. Load that box, make Flacco win with his arm. And I don't think he can do that. He definitely is going to win with his legs. So definitely put that 7th, 8th man in the box, because they're going to run the ball. No question. They're going to run the ball. So load that box, and you want Joe Flacco in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 scenarios all day long. I'll take that.
And I like that you say that. That's one of the things that Kelvin Shepard, one of the points he made to attest to Terrion Arnold and the scrutiny that he's gotten is that this guy is out there on an island. He said one of the main reasons why we were able to shut down Derrick Henry is because there was a safety in the box, and a lot of times he had no help. Just the fact that he's still a young corner. This guy's only 22 years old. When he was drafted, he was just newly 21. So he's obviously still got a long way to go, but he definitely he still has faith in his abilities. And it's a play here and there. He said you're gonna get beat. That's just the reality of it. In this league, players are too good, and you're gonna have opportunity, and there's gonna be times where you get beat. But yeah, he's not buying into he's not buying into it. And he also addressed Amik Robertson and him getting some more playing time. He said that some of it is just due to the fact that Amik has not had as many opportunities because they've been in a base defense so much. So, that's a 4-3 where you're not utilizing that nickel back as much. So I think they just want to give him some reps. Give him some added reps, because there are some things that Amik does bring to the table, but to not read too much into this, to the statement of we're going to get Amik in there more.
I mean, I've been saying that, as well. So it's not an indictment of Terrion Arnold in his play. It's just, I think Amik Robinson showed last year that he was capable of being on that outside starting corner. But when, during the training camp, they were saying how much Arnold has progressed and he's definitely an outside corner starter. I didn't argue. So not saying he should be benched. I just think he's going to take his lumps until he's ready. We got to remember, second-year corner in the league, and he's playing man-to-man defense just about every down. You know what I'm saying? So Detroit doesn't play a lot of zone defense. They do play some, but they more than likely they're man-to-man all day long, just about. So, and they're going to test him. They're going to test him. And so when you have a young corner, they tend to grab a little bit. They tend to hold a little bit because they're not confident in their technique. They don't want to get beat. So that's one of the things we just have to be patient for. I mean, and then another thing is we tend to live in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's saying Jeff Okudah 2.0. And I swear it's not that. It's not.
Couldn't be more than, well.
It's not that. I mean, I watched Jeff play. I watch Okudah play here. I watched him play at that horrible school in Ohio. I watched him play, and and it's just not that. It's just he's not that. And then on top of that, he's young. He's still young. So I think he'll be okay. He just, as the reps, he's going to take some bumps and bruises, but he doesn't play 4 quarters of bad football. He might have a bad series or 2, but that's about it. We can't give him any kind of grace for us.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, he's a focal point. I mean, there's a reason why corners get paid so much money, the ones that are good, and it's because you are on that island and you are the all eyes are on you. And even on that play where he held Hopkins, I think he had a hold. I think Hopkins had a hold of his face mask on that particular play.
Fighting, and he did have a hold of his face mask. So,
which is what he was kind of talking about in the midst of, because I didn't really see it until they slowed it down, and he's going to continue to have that issue because now he's got this podcast where he's going to be on there, popping his,
and he's a target. They look for that. They go, Terriano on the holds. He's.
And if you've heard this, if you've listened to us before, I tell you, he's like the kid at school that's always in trouble. Once your reputation is that you screw around, the teacher's got her eye on you, man. It's over with after that. Your reputation is there. They watching you. So, yeah. But can I trouble you? I got a little segment. I got to trouble you. So I talked.
Wait, hold on.
Go ahead. You want to go to break?
Yeah, let's take a quick break.
Yeah.
It's a good transition, Foster. You're doing real well with that, man.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick 10-second break. If you're watching, we'll be back in 10 seconds. If you're listening, you're going to hear some wonderful ads. I want to hear what you got to say, Foster. Subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube, y'all. We are nearing 300 subscribers. We are at 280 as I checked this morning. We've been asking for 300 subscribers since February. We are behind. That's all I want to say. Foss, let's get to it.
Yeah, so as I talked about, we want to put the pressure on Joe Flacco, put the ball in his hands and see what he can do. The Cleveland Browns don't have a lot of weapons. Flacco only has two touchdown passes on the season, both of them to Cedric Tillman, I believe his name is. Mm-hmm. And yeah, this is not in-depth. This is not super in-depth film breakdown, but I just want to show you one of the touchdown catches that he has on the year. He is the only one with a touchdown catch on the season so far. But let's check this out. This is Joe Flacco at his best this year. Hopefully this works. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it. Foster is in his production mode.
Let's see here. Let's see if we can get it to play. All right, we got Joe Flacco. Oh, it's a little. Okay.
You know it wasn't going to be 100% on, but
all right. So okay, they're going to play it one more time. But this ball pretty much lands in the cornerback's hands before it gets to him. And this is the one of 2 touchdown passes he has on the entire season. As you can see, they're down to the Ravens here. In his hands. They were blessed on that Sunday. Look at that catch.
How fluky can you get?
So this is part of the reason why we need you guys, for all the people that listen. We need let's get this up out of here. This is one of the for all the people that listen, why you got to subscribe to YouTube, because you get A1 production outside of that by us. So but yeah, so that's what the Browns, that's what their pass game is like. They did have the first game of the season, they had 294 passing yards. Joe Flacco did. And they got a couple weapons. Jerry Jeudy, who played for, I think he went to Alabama and he played for the Broncos for a couple years. They got David Njoku, the tight end, and Cedric Tillman is their number 1 receiver right now. He's got 2 touchdown receptions. But yeah, that's what we want to do. We want to force Joe Flacco to try to make passes like that. Hopefully, Butterfinger BB, Brian Branch, hopefully he's not letting passes slip through his hands like he has the last couple weeks. But that's what Joe Flacco is going to give you the opportunity to do. This is did he win a Super Bowl when he was with the Ravens?
Yes.
Super Bowl quarterback, but he is in his twilight years, if you will. He's pushing 40. So we gotta limit their running ability with Quinshon Judkins and place the responsibility on Flacco. And Tim said it. Muhammad is going to feast on Flacco. He returned to practice on Thursday, which is good news. We got to keep that. We had 7 sacks against the best running quarterback probably ever. Okay. And they talked about and Shepard also talked about his reluctancy to use the QB spy. I think that's what they kind of teased him about. Yeah. But the team did an amazing, the linebackers did it, because I wouldn't say we have the most speedy and dynamic linebackers.
We don't.
But they were very disciplined. They stayed at home, and there is a give and take with the QB spy, because you kind of eliminate one defender.
Take one defender off the board.
Yes. And it can create a lot of different other unfavorable matchups. So when everybody says, "Oh, why don't you just use the QB spy?" It sounds great in Madden, but in real life, it's like, it only takes one pump fake, one quick move, and the quarterback can, eliminate him from the defense anyway. So yeah, when we get in those past obvious situations, and Muhammad and Hutch, who had an amazing game, I am beyond pleased with how Hutch played last week. So I need to see more of that, because Flacco ain't going nowhere. Let's be real.
No. I meant to do this earlier. I gotta say shout out to my boy Pay. He's over there, the frustrated Chicago sports fan. Subscribe to his channel. Tim, I want you to post your show on here, and I'll pin it to the screen. We have a couple of loyal listeners. Pay chimes in, and that's not only one of our co-hosts on our Wednesday show, but he's a friend of ours. So shout out.
He's been giving the Tigers a hard time, and I'm not feeling that. But you know what? Hey, he who laughs first.
You gotta, Foster, you gotta understand the source. His Chicago Bears and his Baltimore Ravens lost back-to-back to the Lions. Of course he's going to give you flack about the Tigers. It happens.
And the Tigers beat the Cubs.
Well. Anyway, look.
It's a lot. That's a lot.
My boy Tim has his show, and it's called Running Through the Jungle. It's a Bengals podcast. Go check him out. He has a lot of good material, good media content. Now, you don't have to be just, a Lions fans and not pay attention to sports is sports, man. Go check him out. He's a good guy. He's a talented guy, and he have good material over there. Go check it out. Make sure you subscribe to his YouTube channel. That's Running Through the Jungle, a Bengals podcast.
Plus, the Lions go head to head with the Bengals this year, if I'm not mistaken. So there is definitely a collaboration show that should be in the workings for that week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. And like Tim says, just subscribe. It's free. And then on top of that, you know what I'm saying? Like, share, comment on, it's algorithm based stuff. So, you know what I'm saying? Keep people's in the algorithm there. He says next week we're going to get our kicked against the Lions.
Oh, see, it's coming up. See, I didn't know it was that soon, but hey.
Any given Sunday, man, I hope you're right. But,
yeah, I'll take your word for it on that.
But any given Sunday, man, and it's early, man. Some teams are still trying to find their identity. If Burrow was playing, we definitely, and I definitely walk into that game with extreme caution because Burrow is one of them guys, man. He just can't stay healthy. Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we talked about the Lions defense at a pretty high clip versus the Browns, because I honestly don't think that they are a scary threat. After you play, and it's like after you play Baltimore and you face Lamar Jackson and gave up 30 points, but at the same time, there were times where the defense looked really good. And I think if that defense can look really good versus the Browns, we shouldn't have any problems. But that goes to our offense. Now, Foster, we've put up 90 points the last two games. That's no pick sixes. That's no scooping scores. Those are 90 points generated by the offense. Sad to say, the first game we didn't generate a lot of offense, a lot of scores. We didn't generate a lot of touchdowns, if any. I can't even remember. I don't know. Yeah, it was one touchdown at the end with Tesla. So we didn't score like we needed to versus Green Bay. But the next two games, 52 versus Chicago, 38 versus Baltimore. Going into this game, the only thing that worries me offensively is the same thing that worried me before the first game of the season. How well will the interior defense do versus this Browns team? Because their strength is up front, that front seven. That's their strength. And they do have a couple pieces in the defensive backfield, but their strength is in that front seven. And that's where the communication between the offensive line goes, the blocking assignments, and that's where Myles Garrett is. So, though that's my only concern is how well they'll do versus that Cleveland Brown defensive line. Do you have any concerns with the offense this week, Foster?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Lions have had the running game going. The last two games, they had 224 yards rushing and 177. And I think that's a direct correlation as to why we have not allowed a sack in the last two games as well. I'm not sure whether or not Myles Garrett plays the inside, but I would venture to believe that if he does at all, they're definitely going to move him around because, Hutch can play, Hutch, they move him around. They use stunts to, apply pressure to all points of the offensive line. I would venture to say that Myles Garrett will will be all over, the interior and exterior, as well, because they are dealing with the Lions are dealing with some young and inexperienced players who have answered the bell in the last couple. Tate Ratledge had a over 90 PFF rating. He's done really, really well. Is it pass blocking or run blocking? One of them he has struggled in. I just posted it. Hold on. Oh, run blocking. So yeah, he's got a 76 overall grade at run blocking. But so yeah, I look to see Myles Garrett, Mason Graham, and some of the other guys try to put some pressure out there, because we've seen what it looks like when teams don't get to the quarterback and they are constantly concerned about the running game. We put up 90 points, as you said, in the last 2 games, 45-point average in the last 2 games. That is against some pretty solid defenses. We're not talking about some bums. Now, like you said, the Ravens did have some injuries. They had the one guy, I can't think of his name, but he's an impactful player, but he's just one guy. And then there was also
I forgot
the other guy that was drafted by the Lions. So there was a couple guys on the defensive line, but nonetheless, they still got Roquan Smith out there. They still have one of the best safeties in the league. It's a very talented defense altogether. But and the same thing with the Bears. The Bears, their defense is nothing to snub your nose at. So, yeah. Oh yeah, Van Noy. Yeah. Matabuke. Yeah. Thank you. I got to put Tim on the payroll, man. He making me look good out here. But
the Cleveland team, man, that's a rivalry.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
So yeah, my biggest concerns is the protection. That is, you can pretty much, when you talk about keys, you can pretty much circle that as a key in every game. But we shall see. Establishing the run opens up so much.
Yeah, I mean, if you can, one of the issues that the Lions had in their first game is they couldn't run the ball. Could not run the ball versus Green Bay at all, and that bodes very bad for play action. If you can't run the ball, don't worry about you. Play action is not gonna scare anything, so it just doesn't matter. We did a better job versus the Bears running the football, and Montgomery had a gigantic game versus the Ravens. So, and you got to think. I think Gibbs broke loose versus the Bears twice. He still was held under 100, but he had like 90 something, I believe. But he had 2 touchdowns. So, it's just one of those things. And the Lions, if they can run the ball. The Lions can run the ball against anybody. That defense is just, that Cadillac is going to be just ready to ride. You know what I mean? So offensively, I think if we can establish the run, and one thing that the Lions do not shy away from is running between the tackles with either back. You're going to see Gibbs run between the tackles. You're going to see Montgomery. Of course, you're going to see Montgomery between the tackles. It's just not one of those things where you put Gibbs in and you think sweep left, sweep right. No, he's going to get the ball. He's going to run between the tackles as well. So it happens. It just happens. And it's going to be tough. That offensive line, I like these tests early. They've been tested very early, and they have risen to the occasion after game 1. Because game 1, I was disgusted.
To say the very least, it was yeah.
And I have to say, Foster, and I'm gonna keep on saying this. And I was talking to a guy at work the other day, and he said, "I'd rather it be like it is than to change it." But I really, really want to bring this point home. If you don't play in preseason, it's going to take a couple games to warm up, and the way it's been is the Lions the past 2-3 years do not play an offensive starter. They do not get a snap during I mean, a defensive starter either. They do not play a snap during the preseason. Now, when you have a new offensive interior line, game one is right there, and they looked like they needed some more work. And partner in mine work said, I'd rather it be like that than to lose somebody during a preseason game for a significant amount of time. So just keep it the way it is. We'll weather the storm for the first 3 or 4 games. You lose a game within the first 3 or 4 games, what does it hurt? I'd rather do that than lose a key player for the rest of the season or for a significant amount of time. And if you've been a Lions fan or you followed the Lions, last year in injuries, horrible. I had never seen that many injuries on one side of the ball the way that we endured last year. It was just so much. You lose your number one player, and then you have several players you lose for 5 weeks or more. It's just it's crazy. It's crazy. So, Foster, how do you feel about the preseason? Do you think we should keep it the way it is or let them get some reps?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it takes us a couple weeks and we are getting into our groove, as long as we are getting into our groove at a reasonable pace and we're, firing on all cylinders by the 3rd or 4th game of the season, I can't really trip about it.
Do you think this is a trend that other teams will follow? Because the way I see it, okay, I'm gonna give you an example, prime example. Mahomes plays 2 or 3 quarters every game.
Bro, it's crazy because that's exactly what I was thinking about. Even last year, he played a little bit this year. And last year, I remember because we played them, and Mahomes played into the second quarter or something, into the halftime. I'm like, that's all. To each his own, I can say. I gotta say. So to each his own.
Yeah.
Mahomes, bro. Like if Mahomes, I don't even know who their backup is. For their sake, I hope that we never have to find out. But if Patrick Mahomes plays in the preseason, it's kind of an eye opener. Like
what are you doing?
Like maybe we should be like if they feel that even he needs a tune up before the season starts, it is kind of eye opening.
Yeah,
because that is such a risk. I mean, yeah, it's a risk. That's all I can really say.
Well, if hindsight is 20/20 vision, right? But if you also give someone a choice to say, hey, would you rather someone get hurt in the preseason or start off slow? You're going to pick start off slow every single time. And I think that's the situation, the possibilities you're looking at. Because if you start off, let's say you started off 2-2, does that hinge your Super Bowl ambitions? No.
Now, you might need those 2 wins later on. So I can't totally discount that because a lot of these, in a 17-game season, every game counts from one all the way down to the 17th one. So I can't just discount that starting slow is irrelevant. But
no, I'm not saying it's irrelevant, but I'm saying
yeah. No, I'm not saying I'm not saying
you don't throw in the towel being 2-2.
For sure. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
No doubt.
But you may throw in the towel if Goff has a separated shoulder in the
God, don't even say it.
Preseason, no way I can say it. And he's not going to play it. So
yeah, he ain't gonna play it anyway.
If Goff has a separated shoulder in the preseason and doesn't play the first 8 games, then what? You know what I'm saying? So I'd rather it be the way it is, even though we don't like it. I don't know if it's just us paying attention last year, but we actually paid attention last year. And going into this year, our eyes were open to it because we saw the slow start offensively. We knew we were better offensively last year versus the Rams. And I remember it like it was yesterday. We didn't score a lot of points. We won that game. And then Tampa Bay, we didn't score enough points. It was a close game. Baker Mayfield at the end made plays to win the game. And I think the score was like 20-17 or something like that. We lost to Tampa Bay here in Detroit. Lost to them here. And it was we just didn't score enough points. But then at game 3, that car started humming.
And to Mile Marker's point, he said early in the year when we played against Arizona, I don't recall it vividly, but I believe him when he says that early in the game, early in the game versus Arizona, we started a little slow. We've been known to start slow from time to time.
We finished strong offensively, but but Arizona made it. They had that safety, that all-world safety. He made a lot of plays in that first half.
Mm-hmm.
He made a lot of plays in that first half, and it was like, okay, what are we doing? Tim Lyon said it's going to be interesting to see when they add that 18th game.
I think they're going to place even more emphasis on the regular season because there'll be more meaningful games and more opportunities to get right.
Question. I got a question. Is this? I haven't heard anything about an 18th game. Are they talking? Is this serious? Is this going to be a thing?
I think people just feel like they're going to lean towards that, especially right now. They got an odd number of games where you don't even get an even home and away schedule. Someone's going to have 9 away games and someone's going to have 8 home games. You know what I mean?
And I think if you're going to play 20 games all together, with 3 preseason games, the NFL is going to see the money.
Yeah, that's really what it's going to happen.
They're going to see the money with these regular season games. Say, hey, we might as well go ahead and just make it an 18 games.
What's a little bit more CTE, right?
All you need is another bye week. Throw that in there, and
That's true.
Just throw another bye week in there and, call it a day. We'll give them another week off and add another game. They're going to play. They're playing 20 games anyway. Might as well make 18 of them regular season games. They don't need a lot of warm up. 2 games and get out there. They get to see how their rookies fare and 2-week evaluation to fill their rosters. And because preseason nowadays isn't about getting ready for the regular season, it's about who's going to be on your roster. You're going to put those, and I'm talking about those people outside of the guaranteed picks. I mean, the guaranteed contracts, or not guaranteed, but those 3rd and 4th stringers that you don't know about. You get a chance to put them on the field and say, hey, let's evaluate these players. Maybe they have can vouch for some playing time or even a starter role. So I don't think it's about warming up. I think it's more about who's the final pieces to your roster. So, and I think they'll know that going in. So that'll probably about do it for the day, Foster. You want to put a bonus? I know it's Saturday. I know a lot of people are watching college football. We're going to let you get to it. Get your snacks ready. It's almost about 45 minutes away from college football kickoff, and we're going to let you get to it. But Foster, before we get out of here, I want to tell the people once again to make sure that they are subscribing to Bleachers and Speakers on YouTube, and make sure they're following us on all the aggregators. Anywhere you can listen to a podcast, you can find me and Be Foster. That's Bleachers and Speakers FFSN in your search. Make sure you have that notification bell on, so when we drop content, you'll get an alert and download those episodes. Foster, put a bonus so we can get out of here. I shouldn't have put that up. No, we're not. I'm sorry, Tim. We can't.
I was gonna say, I wonder if you peeped at my face when I wrote that. I was like, what?
I accidentally clicked on it. No, we don't. No, I'm sorry, Tim. This is one thing we don't agree on around here. Foster being a Michigan State fan, I'm being a Michigan fan. We don't do the Irish around here. No, there's no Notre Dame love around here.
Yes, we're awful.
Nay, I don't care. I mean, you could be great. It's still that we don't do Notre Dame around here, buddy. But Foster, put a bow on this.
Yeah, man. I think the biggest key is getting out early and forcing them out of their element and having to make big plays down the field and speeding up the pace of the game. One thing that I did notice, Sam Laporta is having a solid start to the season, but he has not made it to pay dirt yet. So keep an eye on that. I think he is due, and they are going to find some opportunities to get him in there. So, other than that, it's not rocket science. If we continue to run the ball, it's going to help the offensive line protect Jared Goff better. And when it comes down to putting points on the board, we are a top 5 team. I can't think of a more dynamic offense right now, honestly. Our backup running back had 150 yards rushing this week. So
he'd start on a lot of teams. So
man,
he would start.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just tough when I can't talk about it enough. When Jahmyr Gibbs started slow, they had defenders all in the backfield and things were looking shaky. The fact that we could bring in a fresh David Montgomery that hadn't touched the field yet, and that be it, and them not being able to take a sigh of relief, like, oh, okay, now they're bringing in their backup. No, he is, if not as elusive, every bit he's every bit as much of a problem in the backfield as Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get his touches, even if it's just for a little dink and dunk yards. He's going to get his touches, whether he's running the ball or whether he's in the pass game. But when you bring in David Montgomery, who can run away from some folks too, he's not your prototypical bruiser. But it just makes it so difficult on the defense. So I'm excited. I hope that, we're back home. It's going to be loud. It's going to be electric. I hope we just beat the dog, out of the Browns.
Yeah, Tim Lyon said Mont saved y'all. I think there were so many things that went right for the Lions. I really can't say it was solely Mont.
He got it going, though. It's funny. The first drive that we scored, he didn't touch the field. It was a couple of long passes to Jamison Williams. He's another guy that, and they talk about it. It's a very unselfish receiver group. They who's our coordinator? Morton said, I've never seen a set of guys that check. You don't hear me? You don't hear me?
Yeah, you're just lagging a little bit.
Oh.
We both are.
He's never seen a set of receivers that block so well. Oh, yeah, you must be below. Yeah, he's are we far behind?
What's going on? I don't know what's.
You can wrap it up. But
I don't know what's going on.
You can just wrap it.
That's weird. Oh, how both of us are glitching right now. I'm telling you, ever since we mentioned Notre Dame, it's been kind of wild. Anyway, we'll go ahead and wrap this up, boss, because this is scaring me, man. I don't know what's going on. I want to tell everyone, make sure they subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube. I still can't do it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, something is wrong. Yeah, we're glitching.
Whoa.
Yeah, something is wrong. We're glitching. Definitely glitching. Something is wrong. Let's just end it. Subscribe to Bleachers and Speakers on YouTube.